It's chunky time. Fellas, you may remember in the last video, I think that starter is toast. Got online and I saw where people were giving good reviews in the 300 inline 6 Facebook page that they were saying that this Pure Energy 100% brand new starter was giving them good service and not going out every year or two like some of the other rebuilds and stuff. So I'm going to throw this on and hopefully I won't have that problem I had before. I'll show you a clip of what it was sounding like. This was the starter off the 240 that I had, and I just put it on this 300. The lug there is slightly different. You have this here and that on the body there. Now why is this thing so dusty if it's brand new? The bolts are out and we're gonna have to come up, but it's pretty convenient that you can work on this starter from up here. Let's see if it'll come on up and out. Yeah, come on. Comparing the physical size of the old 240 starter, the 300 starter appears to be slightly smaller on the case, but sticks out with this extra stuff here, so it's about the same size. Also, I wanted to reiterate, this flex plate is totally not damaged. The original one was damaged, probably damaged because this was hitting it so much. But I replaced that with an exact identical flex plate. And this one's a lot lighter than the other one too. Very nice fit. As I'm changing this starter out, I'm looking around. I tried to save so much money by using the original parts or rebuilding, and it just doesn't work out. Almost everything on this engine has been replaced at this time with something different, from like no parts were good. So many people would have already lost faith and patience in this thing. All right, let's see how this acts. That was easy. This thing just runs so smooth. It's a thing of pure beauty. I'm just amazed, impressed. No drama. I put this vent opening fresh air thing in, and we're about to go to Lowe's. Chunky will do its first job. We're going to test out everything, recheck that hot spot on the doghouse, and just enjoy the day. Chunky's first useful job was hauling some mulch and soil. Everything's going fine. Today I'm going to try to get the hood on. Now originally this van's hood latch went from here to here, and it's a big brace because this all wasn't here. This was a manual brake van, and I've converted it to power brakes, and all that stuff is now in the way. One of the strangest things about the production of these vans is they made a power brake hood and a non-power brake hood. Here's a non-power brake hood. Let's take a look at the back of it. I understand it's not in the best condition. Here's some rust here and there. But if I could get this to work for now until I find a different hood, I may be able to fix it to some extent. So let's put this one on and see where we'll need to cut to make clearance. And then we'll take a look at the latch too. Here's an example of a power brake hood on the top. The bottom hood is a non-power brake hood. That's what I've got. Notice the location of where the latch clips in. And here is a picture of the latch off of a power brake van, totally away from the master cylinder. It would be convenient if I had these parts, but I just don't. All right, here's what the non-power brake latch looks like. And of course, if I cut this, all of this is going to have to go. It's just basically going to be this strip right here and then down to this. So I'm going to probably bend these inward a little bit. I can't bend them here at all anymore or they'll kink. So I'm going to bend right around in here and then inward to miss that a little bit and try to cut this. But we'll get to that. Let's get the hood on the vehicle first. All right, I'm surprised by this. This seems to be closing all the way. People were talking on the message boards about cutting some of the inner structure here. I'm not seeing where that's really going to be necessary, I don't think. Here's the hood prop. I'm going to try to use my camera kind of as a scope and look up in here and see. So we might have actually dodged a bullet here. This thing might close without having to cut this hood up at all. So let's get started on that hood latch. I'm going to trace this out on cardboard and test fit the cardboard and make an attempt to cut as little as possible from this bracket and try to retain some strength in it. Thank you to the people on the forum who have shown me some pictures of how this works. You have to cut this part completely off. There's a bolt that you can put up in there, but it's not really all that important. Let's cut all of this off and then go from there. All right, I'm seeing right here is going to have to be under this lip here. So we've got a long way to go. We're going to have to bring these two brake lines as far in as possible, as right now they are the biggest obstacle. I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to have to cut the vast majority of this thing to make it work. I'm going to cut right down through here. I'm going to try to keep some of this curve. I don't want it to be totally flat here. It'll be wobbling and weak. Cut down through there, cut all this off. Retain the area where the latch is, and then give it a try. I've got this idea that maybe I can leave the brake lines on this side. We'll try that and see what happens. Now, I don't know why, but something was telling me to leave this little curve, but it's just in the way. And I don't think it's going to help with any kind of strength. So I'm going to go rip that off. So without that in the way, I can maneuver this in here a little easier. This is just an experiment to see if I can get away with these being on the opposite side of the latch. Well, we are close. So this bottom part of this bracket bolts into the aluminum grill. And you know, these aren't very strong, but it doesn't take a lot to hold this hood down. All right, let's see. It's hitting right here. Kind of seeing how bendable this is now. It's not ideal. All right, it appears to be hitting right in this area right here now. That would probably prevent me from getting that cap off at all. I'm going to do a little more grinding. I went ahead and took a little more off of that, and I kind of ground the head of this off so it would fit up closer to the body. Let's give this a test. All right, this is really interesting. And remember, this is all still just an experiment because I don't know if this is going to work in front of this. Let's bolt this down. What do you know? That's the spring popping it back up. Everything looks fine. This could be tightened a little more. I gotta tighten that. So the hood is closing and I'm so thankful for it so far, but I just had the most incredible idea. Genius, if I do say so myself. This screw that's holding that spring on, if it were a little longer, it would push up against the master cylinder and bring this out slightly further away from the master cylinder. And it would make checking the fluid a lot easier. And I don't think it's going to throw it out of kilter too much either. Let's give it a try. This is the original one. And if I could get this little washer off of this one, it would be the tiniest bit longer. It might be just what we need. Now the moment of truth. Can I check my own brake fluid? Do we want to bring this way? Doubt it. Let's try it anyway. Now this. It might be doable, but I'm gonna go the other way with it. Oh no. You can't go the other way with it because it's hitting the vacuum line. So let's reverse that. All right, fellas, I'll tell you where it's hitting. hitting that bolt. So if that was a shorter bolt, we'd be in a lot better shape. I'm going to try to take this off now with the bolt in, much shorter bolt. Fluid looks good. Back on. Well, everything was close to not working, but it worked out just by fractions of an inch. And so I think what I'll do is I'll repair this hood right here where it's rusty, and on the inside, clean it up, get some of the rust chunks and rattles out of it, and use it for a while. And now I'm not desperate to find a power brake hood and hood latch. Just from this one modification, it kind of frees me up to buys me some time. So now I'll paint that up, make it look nice. All this leaves me wondering, why did some people have to cut the inside of their hood? It may be because of the size and shape of the brand of my booster and master cylinder. So I just got lucky. So I'm in here trying to make a gasket out of cork. I cut it out after tracing it for this turn signal and park light, so that it maybe won't get water inside to the bulb.